So our mission here is to unpack these accounts, find those common threads, the vulnerability, the unease, and figure out why these things hit so hard. That feeling when your sense of safety just vanishes.
Yeah, it's really fascinating because these stories, they seem different on the surface, right? But they all tap into these shared psychological impacts. It's all about perceived safety versus actual safety in your own home. So let's dig into what really jumps out for you in these.
Okay, yeah, let's do it. Story number 1. This one starts with someone moving into this absolutely enormous, like 100-year-old mansion. And it's way out in the woods, super isolated. Parents are away. Person's all alone. Right off the bat, there's this feeling of unease. I mean, huge house, long, dark hallways, tons of empty rooms. It already sets a mood, doesn't it? An old house like that, miles from anywhere.
Definitely. The environment itself primes you for fear.
So get this. 3rd day alone, they come home after dark. And immediately, something feels wrong. A spare bedroom door, when they walk past all the time, is just open.
Oh.
They would have noticed it, they're sure. So they close it, feeling really weird, does a quick walk around the house, checks things out. Nothing else seems off, tries to just brush it off, maybe the wind. An old house settling.
And that's the critical point, isn't it? That moment of self-doubt. You're already uneasy because the place is huge and unfamiliar, and then you start questioning your own memory, your own observations. How quickly does that feeling spiral?
Oh, it spiraled fast. Later that night, they make dinner, go back upstairs, and that same spare bedroom door, open, again.
Oh, wow. Okay, so rational explanations is starting to wear thin now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
At this point, they're seriously thinking, okay, maybe this place is haunted.
Yeah.
They peek inside again. Still nothing, just an empty room.
Just empty.
So they back away quietly, go to their own room, lock the door, text their parents like something weird is happening, but the parents are miles away, have no clue.
Understandable reaction. Secure your immediate space. Reach out.
Then it gets really chilling. About 10 minutes pass, they hear footsteps, clear as day, in the hallway.
Oh, no.
They pause the TV, and just then, thump, right outside their bedroom door.
Like something fell, or someone hit it.
Unclear, just a solid thump, then silence, a long, tense pause, then soft knocks, slow, deliberate.
That pacing, that's what's terrifying. It's not frantic, it's calculated. It feels like someone is playing with them. The soft knocks, the pauses, it maximizes the fear by drawing it out. Psychological warfare, almost.
Totally. So the person inside, they call out. They lie, say, I've called the police, trying to scare whoever it is away.
Good instinct. Bluff.
The response, 3 more knocks. Just as slow, just as calm.
Oh, that's ice cold. The bluff didn't work.
Not at all. So now they actually call 911, for real this time. And while they're on the phone with the dispatcher, they hear this loud scratching sound against the door.
Scratching, like claws or...
Like something being scraped along the wood. And then the door handle starts jiggling. Someone's trying to get in.
But the door was locked, right?
Thankfully, yes. Locked. Police get there maybe 10 minutes later. Sirens and lights. But whoever or whatever was outside, gone, vanished.
Of course.
The only thing they find, physical proof, a long, deep gash carved into the back of the bedroom door.
Whoa.
Clearly made by a knife.
Okay, so that changes everything. This isn't just bumps in the night or paranoia. That knife gash is tangible evidence. It shifts it from, like, internal psychological fear to a very real external hostile threat. The boundary was physically breached or attempted.
Exactly. Police couldn't find any leads. House had too many ways in, old locks. Impossible to secure.
Yeah, old houses can be like sieves.
Parents flew straight home, obviously freaked out. Nothing else happened after that. But the person never felt safe there again. Ever. Said they even saw someone watching from the woods a week later.
I believe it. That kind of experience rewires your sense of safety.
They sold the house just a couple of months later. Couldn't stay. So what does this story really show you? It's how fast unease turns into sheer terror when little unexplained things pile up, especially when you're isolated.
And that jump from maybe it's in my head to there's a knife mark on my door is profound. It validates the fear in the worst way.
Okay, let's shift gears. Our next deep dive. A different setting. Small home, regular suburbs. Someone's just chilling on a Friday night, playing video games, orders a pizza. Pretty normal stuff.
Relatable Friday night?
Yeah. Orders around 11 p.m. Time ticks by. 45 minutes, an hour, no pizza, no update.
Ugh, the worst. Pizza limbo.
Right. So they've had a few beers, feeling a bit tired, and they actually doze off on the couch waiting.
Happens to the best of us.
They wake up suddenly. Doorbell's ringing multiple times. Like, persistent.
The pizza's finally here. Or so they think.
Exactly. Still groggy, maybe a little tipsy still. They stumble to the door and open it. There's a guy on the porch. But he's not wearing a uniform, no hat, no thermal bag, no pizza boxes.
Red flag number one.
Big time. But the person's half asleep expecting pizza, so they just automatically ask, how much do I owe you for the pizzas?
Right, that expectation override. Your brain fills in the blanks based on what you think should be happening, especially when you're not fully alert.
Totally. So the guy, he's just in dark jeans, gray hoodie, gives this really weird answer. He says, don't worry, the pizzas are still on the way.
Oh, okay, that's bizarre. Not wrong house, I'm not the pizza guy, but still coming.
Super weird. The person's confused, but again, groggy, maybe a bit buzzed. They just kind of shut the door. Doesn't fully register how strange that whole exchange was.
The tired brain just wants to go back to sleep, not analyze weird doorstep conversations.
Exactly. Falls back asleep on the couch.
Yeah.
Wakes up again a bit later.
Well,
why? They heard a sound, a faint clicking sound.
Clicking? Like what?
They're not sure at first, but this is where it all unravels. They grab their phone to check the time. It's 4 a.m.
4 a.m. Okay, wait.
And they realize the pizza place closed at 1 a.m. They remember getting a notification hours ago that the order was canceled due to a delay. They just didn't fully process it then.
Oh, that's the gut punch. The timeline doesn't match. The pizza wasn't coming. It was never coming at that point. That aha moment, as you called it, where reality just crashes in. It completely reframes that doorstep interaction from weird to potentially sinister.
Totally sinister. So now they're wide awake. They creep to the door, check the people, nobody there.
Okay.
They reach for the lock, maybe to double check it, maybe crack the door open, only to find it's unlocked.
Oh, no.
They realized they forgot to lock it after that weird interaction with the hoodie guy.
Yeah.
Just shut it and went back to the couch.
So the door was unlocked the whole time he was potentially still out there.
Seems like it. And as they close the door properly now, and the latch clicks into the frame.
Let me guess.
That's the exact sound they heard. The clicking sound that woke them up.
He tried the door. He waited. Then he came back and quietly tried the handle, hoping it was unlocked.
That's the horrifying realization. So what does this mean for you, the listener? The guy wasn't lost. He wasn't confused. He was playing along, using the pizza expectation as cover. He probably waited outside, listened, heard the door just close, but not lock.
And then tested it. That is incredibly creepy. It's exploiting vulnerability, the person being tired, a bit drunk, expecting a routine delivery. It's predatory.
The person completely panics now. Thinks maybe he's still around, maybe even inside somehow. They hear another noise, maybe just the house settling, but they're not taking chances.
Don't blame them.
Grabs their phone, bolts out the front door, locking it behind them this time, presumably, and calls 911 from the street.
Smart move. Get out of the potentially compromised space.
Police show up fast, search the area. Guy's gone, of course.
Always gone.
Yeah. But the person is left wondering, what did he want? Was he just scouting for an easy robbery target? Or something worse, taking advantage of someone clearly not fully aware?
Chilling. It's that calculated patience again, like in the first story, but combined with deception. Using your own expectations against you. It's a form of social engineering, really.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, one more deep dive for today. This one happens mid-2019. Someone moves into a pretty cheap, kind of rundown one-bedroom apartment. It's a small complex, just 4 units. And for the first 3 months, get this, all the other units are totally vacant.
Ooh. Isolated again? They're in a different way. Urban isolation. Empty building vibe.
Right. Feels uncomfortable. So one evening, long day at work, they get home. Sudden knock at the door.
Okay.
The people on the door is broken, like painted over or something. Can't see out.
Ugh. It's not good. Loss of a key security feature.
So they open the door. And there's this older guy standing there, maybe late 40s, early 50s, dark hair, bit of stubble, standing really close to the door. And his eyes are unsettling. That's the word the source used.
Standing too close, unsettling eyes, and the peephole's broken. That's like a trifecta of warning signs right there.
It was.
And what does he say first?
His first question is weirdly direct. Do you live here?
Wow. Not high, not excuse me, but straight to confirming occupancy and implicitly that they might be alone. That feels calculated. Probing for vulnerability.
He does. Then the guy cracks this grin, says he's moving into the unit next door. Just wanted to introduce himself.
Okay, a plausible explanation, at least on the surface.
Right, but he never gives his name, just your new neighbor. The person thinks he's odd, definitely weird vibes, but also maybe a tiny bit relieved.
Relief that the building won't be totally empty anymore.
Exactly. Maybe you'll feel safer with someone else around, even a weird someone.
Okay, I see the conflicting feelings there. Annoyance, suspicion, but also a little bit of hope for less isolation.
So fast forward to the very next night. Person comes home from work again. As they're walking up to their own door, they see movement in the window of the new neighbor's unit. The blinds shift.
Like he was watching for them.
Exactly
Got
the
it.
feeling they got, like he was waiting.
Creepy. Okay.
They get inside their apartment, literally 30 seconds later. Knock, knock, knock.
Oh, come on. Again.
Yep, same guy. This time he asks if they know how the thermostat works in these units. Claims he's like too old to figure out these newfangled things.
Uh-huh. The helpless neighbor routine.
Pretty much. The person's tired, in a rush, just wants to unwind. But they quickly explain the controls, which are apparently super simple, like up-down buttons.
Standard stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
But here's where it gets really interesting and, frankly, quite alarming. The guy then says, "Could you just show me?" Being kind of pushy about it, passive-aggressive.
Ah, the escalation from asking for info to asking for entry.
Yeah. The person hesitates. They really don't want to, but they figure, okay, maybe if I just quickly show him, he'll leave me alone finally. Just get it over with.
That feeling of obligation or wanting to avoid confrontation, it's a powerful manipulator. This is a classic boundary testing technique. See how much compliance you can get with a seemingly small request?
Totally. So they reluctantly agree. They walk the 10 feet to his supposed unit next door. The door is already slightly open.
Convenient.
Too convenient. The person starts to step into the doorway to point at the thermostat.
Yeah.
And they just freeze. Stop dead.
Why? What do they see?
The apartment is empty. Completely bare. No furniture, no boxes, no signs of anyone moving in. It's dirty, paint peeling off the walls. It smells bad. It's obviously undeniably vacant.
Oh my God. The whole story was a lie. He doesn't live there. That is the ultimate aha moment. The floor just drops out. The entire friendly neighbor facade instantly crumbles, revealing something truly sinister underneath. That cognitive dissonance must be terrifying.
Terrifying. The man sees them hesitate, sees the realization dawn on their face, and his expression just shifts. The fake friendly look disappears. It turns into this dark, almost disappointed expression.
Like he's annoyed the trick didn't work.
Exactly. And he takes an aggressive step towards them, blocking the doorway more, and says, almost menacingly, "Come on in."
Nope. Time to run.
Absolutely. The person turns and bolts back to their own apartment, slams the door, locks it immediately. Heart pounding.
Good reflexes.
A few seconds later, click, click, click. The handle on their own door starts jiggling. He followed them. He's trying their door now.
Unbelievable persistence.
The person is scrambling, dialing 911.
As they should be.
The guy at the door pauses when he hears them on the phone, probably. Then his voice changes back, tries the friendly neighbor thing again.
Seriously.
Yeah. "Hey, what's wrong? I just needed help with the thermostat." Knocks a few more times. Pleads a bit. Footsteps walking away. He gives up and leaves.
That switch back to the friendly voice after trying the handle, that's deeply disturbing. It shows how calculated it all was. He maintains the deception until the very last second, even when caught. Pure manipulation.
Police arrive. Man's gone. They check the unit next door, confirm absolutely vacant. Looks like he'd broken in and had been squatting there for a few days.
Squatting and watching.
Yeah.
Learning the neighbor's schedule. Waiting for an opportunity.
Precisely.
Yep.
The person moved out basically as soon as their lease allowed. Couldn't stay there knowing that.
I wouldn't either. Wow.
So what's the takeaway for you here? It's just how predatory people can be, exploiting basic politeness, social norms, the feeling of isolation, all to try and gain access. How easily a simple request can be a weapon.
It really highlights how predators rely on us wanting to be helpful, wanting to be seen as nice. They weaponize courtesy.
Yeah. Okay, so we've unpacked these three stories. The isolated mansion, the fake pizza delivery guy, the new neighbor who's actually a squatter. What's the thread that ties these together for you? What's the core thing we're seeing?
Well, what's really striking, I think, is how each story, though totally different in the details, fundamentally shatters that feeling of safety you're supposed to have at home. Home is meant to be your sanctuary, right? Your secure space. But in each case, whether it's an unexplained presence that turns out to be real, or someone exploiting your vulnerability, or outright deception to lure you, that core sense of security is just violated profoundly.
Yeah, it's like the one place you should feel completely safe becomes the source of the terror.
Exactly. And it moves beyond just being scary stories. They
Yeah.
illustrate these deep psychological breaches, the violation of personal space, the manipulation of trust.
And they all leave you with that lingering question, don't they? What did they
Well,
really want? What would have happened if? And how thin is that line between feeling safe and actually being safe?
That's a really important question it raises for all of us, isn't it? When your home, your safe haven, becomes the actual stage for these terrifying events, how does that change your perception of safety forever? Even when the immediate danger is gone, that doubt can linger. It's not just about getting through the event, it's about living with the aftermath, the what-ifs.
So, as you listening think about these deep dives, maybe consider this. In these situations, how much of the fear comes from the actual threat in that moment? And how much comes from that lasting, horrible realization that the safety you took for granted? Maybe it was just an illusion all along, or at least much more fragile than you thought.
These stories really force us to confront a pretty unsettling possibility that sometimes the biggest threats aren't monsters hiding in the closet, the things we imagine. But maybe they're the quiet things, the things lurking just outside the door or even inside our assumptions, just waiting for a small opening, an unlocked door, a moment of lowered guard, inside our perceived zones of comfort.
A really sobering thought to end on. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into some truly unsettling realities of being home alone. We hope this exploration gives you something to chew on until our next deep dive.